Hello and welcome into Scorching Start on the Birds Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Sammy Miller, alongside your broadcasters, Ian Nicholas and Dylan Pescatore. And we are back at Eldridge Park after yesterday's All-Star game, where we had 6 different Orleans Firebirds players represent the East, especially Joe Oyama, who took home the East MVP. We know he's special here, but now the entire league knows how special Mr. Joe Oyama is. What did you see from his performance last night that enabled him to get the MVP?
Well, I saw what he's done all season for the Firebirds, continuing to get the bat to the ball, finding ways to make contact against the top in the All-Star game. These guys are not only in the Cape Cod League as the best college players, these are the best of the college players in the Cape Cod Baseball League, and Joe Oyama scores the only run for the East Division in a 7-1 loss. Although they did lose, he won the East Division MVP, so congrats to Joe.
And the last time we were at Eldridge Park, it was on Friday. It was the big doubleheader, Chatham A's and the Firebirds, and they were able to split. The A's took the first game, Firebirds took the second. But first, let's focus on that first game. Didn't really go the way of the Firebirds. They ended up losing 6-3. Ian, what are your biggest takeaways?
Well, Evan Truitt made his second start in a row where things weren't working perfectly for him. But again, he's gotten very unlucky from start to finish this season. The defense has not been at its best when Truitt's been on the mound, and a pitcher can only be as good as his defense. So ultimately, you make multiple errors when Truitt's on the mound. He struggles, and then something that was kind of a theme of a doubleheader, they were able to get away with it in Game 2, leaving guys on base. You left the bases stranded, the bases loaded, and the bases stranded. So those are two things that can't happen. Defensive issues and leaving runners on, that's what plagued Orleans in Game 1.
Luckily, though, they were able to clean it up a little bit in Game 2. They got the win. It was the big 4-3 victory, a walk-off style, and pitching definitely highlighted that game. Grayson Carter started things off for the Firebirds, and we also saw Sean Matson coming in. What did you see from the pitching staff as a whole?
Well, I'll start with this. Kelly Nicholson definitely showed off about his almost playoff rotation. He's going to use these guys in a game they needed to win, which was the Chatham game 2. Grayson Carter came on the mound. He started the game with a lot of energy. He brought in energy to a team that kind of lacked that in Game 1. 6 strikeouts in 3 1/3, and then Chase Hungate got a lot of ground balls, got a little bit unlucky with the defense that didn't play their best game in Game 1. Matthew Watson was really big with a strikeout with the bases loaded. Sean Matson did what he did the entire season, another scoreless inning in that 7th inning, and set up Owen Carpellotti for the walk-off. So a good for the Firebirds to get that Game 2, because the sweep would have been a disaster.
And how about Owen Carpellotti? It really couldn't happen to a better guy, and it really is fitting that it was a sac fly walk-off, Ian. He continues to show how much of a team player he is.
Not only was he a team player, but also Fenwick Trimble. You know, Jay Casey, the pinch runner, would not have been on third base if Trimble didn't hit one against the shift to the right side of the infield to move him to the hot corner, and eventually he would score because Carp nearly went deep. I think everybody thought he went deep for the second night in a row. He didn't, but he understood what he needed to do with only one out. He could just send a deep fly into the outfield. But Owen has been fantastic over these last 6-7 games from the plate. He was already so good defensively, but Carpellotti starting to strike out a lot less, starting to barrel the ball a lot more. Both him and Henry Hunter have looked much improved as of late from the plate. And for Carp, this is one of the guys that everybody roots for on this team. He's one of the leaders of this team. And if he can be now slotting in the middle of the order instead of 7, 8, 9, maybe he's 4, 5, 6, he could be a huge asset.
It will definitely be exciting to see how much his bat continues to get hot in the last few games of the regular season. Now let's talk about today. It's Sam Leboke, the right-handed pitcher from Vanderbilt. He'll be starting things out on the mound. What type of adjustments are you looking for him to make today?
Well, this is an interesting start for Leboke because he started just 3 days ago against Hyannis. It was a spot start. He's only going to go 1 to 2 innings. It's not going to be very long. The Firebirds almost got bit by the All-Star game because their starter that should be starting today, Derek Clark, and Jonathan Gonzalez the next 2 days, they had to pitch an inning yesterday in the All-Star game. Also, Sean Matson had to throw, so we'll see his availability as well. So Leboke has to throw today. If he can get through the lineup just once, find your way through, give your best stuff, and keep the ball low. He's also gotten run support in a lot of times, so if he gets that again today, pitch and attack the other team.
Now, this is a huge game today. The YD Red Sox are currently number 1 in the East, and the Orleans Firebirds are number 2. So, Ian, who has been a player who has really been helping out the YD Red Sox this season?
Well, I would say Hunter Hines, but to be perfectly honest, Hines has not necessarily been the same player that he was at the start of the year, which, look, he started the year on a blazing hot pace. He was on pace for like 20 home runs, which in the Cape Cod Baseball League should be impossible. He's cooled down as of late. I'd say one player to watch out for is R.J. Austin. He's in the middle of this infield. Another Vandy guy. We've talked about Leboke. We've talked about Grayson Carter. They know how good R.J. Austin is. He's a superb athlete. He's a good defender. And he's got a very high batting average, north of 300. So Hunter Hines is the scary guy, but overall it's an offense that's cooled down a lot since he's kind of cooled down, but R.J. Austin has stayed consistent.
And guys, you know what time it is. I need the keys to the game. Dylan, you're up first.
I think it all starts with the starting pitcher, Sam Leboke. He hasn't had his best stuff the past few times out. If he can come out and start with 2-3 scoreless innings, he'll set the Firebirds up for a big win.
Definitely going to be important to set the tone early on. Ian, what about you?
Joe Oyama was unstoppable in that Chatham doubleheader. He was a one-man wrecking crew. He's had multiple hits in each of the last 5 games. Let's make it 6 tonight.
Let's see if Joe Oyama can sprinkle that magic he has once again at Eldridge Park. Stay tuned for a lot more content on the Scorching Start.
All right, let's go to war, boys. You guys can get out.
I'm now joined alongside Firebirds manager Kelly Nicholson. Coach, yesterday was the All-Star game. You had 6 guys representing Orleans Firebirds, and then Joe Oyama came home with the East Division MVP. How proud are you of him?
Yeah, super happy for Joe. When I saw that, Dawn and I had gone to dinner, and we checked and saw Joe got the MVP. I'm like, God, what did he do? Right? What did Joe do? So yeah, I was super happy for him, proud of him. There's nobody that's going to represent the Firebirds better than Joe Ichiro Oyama. So tip of the cap to Joe, and yeah, I'm sure glad he's on our team.
And the last time you guys were on this field was on Friday. It was the big doubleheader against the Chatham Anglers. Now there was game 1 and game 2. Game 1 didn't really go your way, losing 6-3. What are your biggest takeaways from that game?
Well, we didn't, we kind of gave him a couple runs early. We kind of misplayed a ball in right field, and that led to a couple runs. And we didn't pitch particularly well. We kind of, walked guys down in the bottom of the order. I made a mistake in not walking Fabian. He hits a 2-run homer. So it was a plethora of things. We didn't play very well. I didn't think I managed that game very well. And when you don't do that in the Cape League, you're going to get beat, and we got beat. So game 2 was better, right? Grayson Carter got us off to a good start, throwing 100 for 3 1/3 innings. So Annie was throwing strikes. I know he walked 4 guys, but he was around the zone. And those guys have a hard time hitting 97 to 100. And yeah, we pitched well enough to win, and then we put ourselves in position with Eddie Micheletti late, hits that double, and then Casey ran for him, and then they booted a ball, and now it's 1st and 3rd, and Carp's up and came up with a great at bat, hit a deep fly ball, and there were no way they were going to throw out Jay Casey because Case can really run. So he's not like his dad; he can really run. So it was cool. It was good. It was a big win for us, just to create separation with Chatham, and now here we go. We have a day off, and now we have 2 with these guys, and it doesn't get any easier. So here we go. We're ready to go, though. We've got Leboke on the mound. We got 3 new arms in. We're lucky to have those guys with us, and we'll see what happens. It's today's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off on Thursday, and then 6 games in a row to finish the season. So we'll one day at a time. We got a big one today. They're going to be good today.
And how about Sean Matson coming in game 2 as well? Another all-star. How much does he mean to this team?
Oh, man. To have a guy like Matty at the back end of the bullpen, he's our Mariano Rivera, right? I told Jim, in that second game, I'm like, Jim, we don't want to leave our best guy out in the bullpen in this game. And that's, they got to the 7th inning. I'm like, we kind of need to win this game in the 7th, and obviously it worked out. But because we were a little thin in the bullpen, if we would have went extra innings, and we would have had to go innings 8 and 9. But hey, it worked out, so it's all good.
Luckily, like you said, it ended in 7 because of Owen Carpelotti's beautiful sac fly walk-off win. Owen is such a team player. Mm-hmm. How proud are you of him just being that team guy 24/7?
Yeah, the nice thing about Carp too is that he's a worker, right? Those catchers seem like they're workers. Like he and Henry Hunter are out here all the time at 1 o'clock, fixing home plate and fixing the catching mound, and that's just part of their job. Catching bullpens, and they're doing a great job in the game. So, yeah, we're super happy to have those 2 guys as birds this summer.
And today is a big game, like you said. It's the YD Red Sox. They're currently number 1 in the East. Firebirds are number 2. What has impressed you with this Red Sox team?
Well, they're always going to be good, right? They always hit. They're going to play good defense. They're going to run a little bit. They've got a couple new guys from the USA team, so they're going to be a little bit different this time around than when we saw them before. They have Stafford back from the USA team, and the Montgomery kid from Stanford. Obviously, really good players, 2 of the better kids in the country. But like I tell our teams, you want your competition. You want to play really high competition, so when you defeat them, you feel good about it. So I think they're 2.5 games ahead of us. It's going to be real. It's going to be tough to catch them if we don't get them today. It's going to be tough. Not that it can't be done, but we'll just make the job a little bit harder. But I'm looking forward. We got Sam Laboki going. We got 3 new arms. We got guys in the bullpen. I'm not quite sure what they have, but we're going to find out today, and I'm looking forward to it. Like I told Lil Brady, I'm glad the YD Red Sox are a little bit afraid of the Orleans Firebirds. I'm just kidding him. He's a great kid. I love Brady, so it's all good.
I think the entire league should be a little afraid of the Firebirds right now. Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you, Sammy.
Hey, set the tone, boys.
I'm now joined alongside Florida State's Drew Farrow. Drew, I know you're from Florida. Is this your first time ever being on the Cape this summer?
It is, yeah. Yeah, I've never been up this far. No.
And how have you been enjoying playing against some of the best competition in the entire country in this league?
I'm loving it. I think like playing against good competition like really forces you to get better and work on the things that you need to get better at. And it's one thing, that I think I've done a good job of up here is like recognizing what I need to work on and getting better.
And you had an amazing freshman year at UCF. You broke records out there. Do you have any favorite memories from that season?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that year. All the guys on that team were awesome. I have so many memories. I would say sweeping Clemson was probably one of my favorite ones.
And is there something that really led you to the transfer portal? Was it a combination of reasons? Take me through that process.
Yeah, well, with the coach leaving and him moving on, it kind of opened the door, and I just am looking forward to coming back home. Being in Tallahassee, and then just a situation at FSU. I think it's a great spot for me.
Like you noted, you're from Tallahassee, grew up going to FSU games. So how awesome is it going to be to be able to have your family and friends at those games?
Oh, it's going to be incredible. I can't wait to put on a show for them.
And your dad also played at FSU, then went on to play with the Sox and the Milwaukee. And so do you think that's also a reason why you wanted to play a little bit, maybe follow in his footsteps a bit?
Yeah, what he's done is always cool, I love hearing stories about his career. But yeah, I think it's really cool that I get to do this.
And you're also going to be joining not only your Firebirds teammate, your UCF teammate, but now your Florida State teammate, Cam Leiter. How happy are you to be joining up with him again?
Oh yeah, it's super fun. He's a great guy. He's a really good player, and I think it's going to be fun.
Let's shift our focus to this summer with the Firebirds. You had a bit of a slow start, and now you are heating up. What type of adjustments do you think have been working for you lately?
To be honest, I think it's tough to get hot, when you're not playing every day, and I think just getting in a rhythm was the biggest thing for me, and just getting out there every day and like that, getting more comfortable up to bat for sure. That's helped me.
And I know you and Max Fesky have been working so much this summer. How awesome is it to have a coach like that put a lot of time, and that hard work is really paying off?
Yeah, it's huge. He's helped me a ton. He's out here hitting me ground balls whenever I ask him. He's always available. He's always there. So yeah, he's done a great job.
You also grew up being a football player as well. You're one of the best quarterbacks in Tallahassee. How do you think that time being a QB has helped you now at shortstop?
I think it's definitely helped me with my athleticism. Being able to play a different sport and throw a different ball and all that. It's really helped me. And where I didn't get as many reps as other guys on the baseball field, I think it's going to help me in the long run, being able to be more athletic.
And was it a hard decision trying to decide whether you wanted to play football or baseball?
Yeah, it was. I was 100% into football and baseball, and it was tough letting it go. But I'm super happy to be where I'm at now.
And right now the Birds are very hot. You guys have just been second in the power rankings today. So how exciting is it to have these next few games and playoffs coming soon?
Oh, it's super exciting. I think this is a great team, and I think this is a good year to win it all.
Well, thank you so much and good luck today.
Thank you.
That'll do it for this edition of the Scorching Start on the Birds Broadcast Network. Make sure you tune in at 5:30 when the Orleans Firebirds take on the YD Red Sox.